Hello, thank you for watching. This is my third pen video. It's a follow-up to the first one that I did, which was the 599C from Jinhao, which was plastic. I recently acquired 5 of the metal versions. I actually only bought 4, but they threw in an extra one because of the order that I made with the seller from Hong Kong. As you can see, they're all fairly well made. Nice lacquer on the outside, nice little printed on identification at the end. And now we'll look at them in more detail. Here's a look at the eBay auction that I purchased the pens from. As you can see, it was 4. When I received them, they threw in an extra one, the red one. Now we'll look at the pen. Here we have the 6 Jinhao 599 metal pens. And as you can see, there's 5 different colors. I think there are more than 5, but these are the 5 that I have. The blue one at the bottom, as you can see, the cap has the chariot on it. As we scroll down, you'll notice that the section is a slightly different color of blue than the cap and barrel. Look up to the green one, the color is matching pretty much, and so is the red one. Obviously the cap and barrel are metal, so they're painted, and the section is plastic and it's injection molded, so therefore there could be a color difference. And obviously the gold one has a black section as the black pen has a black section. As you can scroll down, you can see the same detail in the cap that all the other pens have. Here's a comparison of the metal 599 with the transparent plastic 599. There the Jinhao is in the plastic rather than painted on. The pens write very similar and the same, so you can watch my video to see how they write my first video. Here's a comparison of the measurements from the Jinhao 599 metal to the Lamy Safari, which is the plastic version. As you can see, the actual size is very close. The differences are not really perceivable. The main difference is in weight. The Jinhao is fairly heavy at 26 grams, and because of the long length, that posted becomes a challenge in writing. The plastic version is only 16 grams. Now we're going to do some close-ups of the Jinhao 599. This is obviously the blue one, and this is what I hope to patent as my classic drive-by pen view, as the pen moves slowly beneath the camera lens. Again, I really like this blue color, and a nice crisp impression that's painted on the end of the barrel. And as we scroll back to the top, we see the chariot. The pens are very well made, and sometimes the cap is a little hard to get off, but that's better to be secure than to be loose. There's your Jinhao nib that's on this pen with the mock breather hole. So it's just basically a slit. And here you can see how the section is a slightly lighter blue than the barrel. Again, some of the quality control from that perspective is not the greatest, but the rest of the pens match up pretty well. As you also notice, the Jinhao lines up with the top of the nib, which is also a good engineering thing, so the threads match up well when the sections are screwed into the barrel. So let's open this up and take a look at the insides. All of them come with converters, which is good for this price level of pen, and it's a very well-made converter. And the other nice little thing is it has Jinhao on the top of the converter, which is nice in case you forget what pen the converter should go into. As you can see, there's little openings at the top of the section, so these are the same injection molded ones as in the 599C. Except this is an opaque plastic that has color in it to match the barrel. A little close-up of the nib, and as I mentioned before, they write very well. Now I will try to extract the nib, and it's not easy to get out. Everything fits very tight, which is good. So after a few minutes, I finally got it out, and here's a close-up of the section without the nib and feed. And again, you can see the openings there, which would coincide with the view windows. And here's the feed and the nib. The nib can be removed, it just slips on and off. And feed works very well. It's an interesting design. The feed is also keyed, so it only goes into the section a certain way. So the top of the nib lines up with the top of the triangle design of the section. And again, everything's a nice tight fit, so we'll slide that back in place. And you know when it's in, it's very secure, and it stops at the right position. So just to show how the barrel threads on and how the Jinhao will line up with the nib, we'll just put that back on. I wouldn't use this as an eyedropper because of the metal, but you know, obviously one might experiment, and that would hold probably a lot of ink. So there's how the Jinhao lines up with the top of the nib. Now we're going to look at the gold one. I have to say that of all the metal pens, this one I had the least attraction to. Part of it is the way the gold color is on there. It's kind of a little bit mottled. It's not really as clean and crisp as the enamel paint on the other pens. And as we can see, it also has the same converter with the Jinhao on the converter screw. And as we place it back, we'll see how it lines back up again. So it is good about the consistency. Like I say, all of them work very well and fit very well together. So I just wanted to compare it to the 599C, which is the transparent all plastic pen, which is, as I said, a lot lighter, about 9 grams lighter, and feels fine posted. And slightly different nib, different design. It actually has a breather hole in it. And it says Jinhao 18 gold plate, which it doesn't look like it's gold plated. So now let's take a look at some of the other pens. Here's the red one, which I have to say the red one and the blue one and the green one are my favorite colors. Just because it's a very intense color, and it's you know, very evenly applied and looks good. And in this one, as we try to pull the cap off, the color of the section pretty much matches the barrel and the cap. So that's very nice, and as you can see, the Jinhao lines up with the top of the nib as all the rest of them do. So for one final look, we'll look at the green one. And as we do the classic drive-by video, as the pen moves slowly beneath the camera. Again, consistency is one of the things I hope to show with all these different pens, which are basically the same model. And I again try to pull off the cap, and here you can clearly see how the section color matches the barrel. And the shininess of the enamel paint looks very good against the shiny plastic in the section. It's very well done. And there's a black insert in both the end of the barrel and at the top of the cap. As we take a look at the cap, you can see the black section on the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to see how this cap is put together. So we'll stare down to the cap. As you can see, there's a screw at the bottom, which is a little bit different than the Lamies that have the screw at the top. So we could easily take it apart.
I have done a writing sample of the 599C, and this one writes very similarly, so I just thought I'd give it a shot and show you what it's like. So I'm going to make a consistency of using Noodler's ink. This is Navajo turquoise, which I think is an excellent color to go with the pen color. So let's open up the bottle and fill the pen. I had a quick drying ink in here, and it really, the nib was kind of dry, so if you let it set for about 30 seconds or so, it would dry out and maybe a hard start. But so I'm going to an ink which is not going to be quick drying. So it's a usual converter, just put the point up to the breather hole into the bottle, retract the piston. As you can see, there's a little gap there, so we'll do it one more time, as the Goulets have mentioned to do. And this time we should fill it up pretty well. As you can see, it's a little bit more. And of course there's ink on the fingers. So we'll just drain off some of the excess back into the bottle. As you can see, it's a nice color. Put the cap back on. Let's take a look at the label, which is always nice. That Noodler's has a very nice label. So let's put the barrel back on. Wipe off the excess ink off of the point. And as I mentioned before, with the metal pens, I don't find it comfortable to be posted. So let's give this a write, and we'll see how it looks. So this is the Jinhao 599 blue metal. The Navajo turquoise is a somewhat light greenish blue. So as I mentioned before, this is a smooth writer. And one of the things that I think you need to do, it is a fine point, so putting pressure on it doesn't accomplish anything. At light pressure, it writes very nicely and consistently. And like I mentioned, these pens are consistent, no hard starts. It always seems to write whenever you pull the cap off on the first try. I wish I had some quaint quote to write down, but I don't. So let's lay down some ink and count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do a smear. And as you can see, it dries pretty quickly, which is indicative of the nib being a little bit dry. So that's about it. So this is the end. And my writing really is terrible. And I'd like to thank all of you who watched, and look forward to more videos from me.